Dr. Maya worked late again at the Space Center. She loved her job studying signals from outer space, but tonight felt different. The coffee in her cup had gone cold hours ago, and the building was so quiet she could hear her own heartbeat. Computer made a soft beep. Another message had arrived through the deep space communication array. Maya rubbed her tired eyes and looked at the screen. Most messages were just random noise from distant stars, but this one looked strange. The patterns were too perfect, too organized to be natural. That's weird, she whispered to herself. Maya spent the next 3 hours trying to decode the message. She ran it through every program she had, but nothing worked. The signal was unlike anything she had ever seen. It had layers within layers, like a puzzle box that kept opening to reveal more puzzles inside. By morning, Maya had made some progress. Parts of the message were starting to make sense, but what she was reading couldn't be real. The words that appeared on her screen seemed impossible. Dr. Maya Rodriguez. The message began. You have been selected for the Interstellar Cultural Exchange Program. You have been assigned a romantic partner from the Zephyrian Collective. This assignment is based on extensive psychological and emotional compatibility analysis. Maya stared at the screen in disbelief. Someone was playing a joke on her. It had to be her coworkers pulling a prank. She looked around the empty lab, but everyone had gone home hours ago. The message continued with details that made her stomach flutter. With nervous energy, it talked about her love for astronomy, her fear of commitment, even her habit of talking to her plants. How could anyone know these things about her? Your assigned partner is Zara 7 of the Silver Coast Colony. She has volunteered for this program and looks forward to meeting you. Please proceed to the following coordinates in 7 Earth days. Maya printed the message and read it again. The coordinates pointed to a location in the Arizona desert, about 3 hours from the city. She had been to that area before for research. It was completely empty, nothing but rocks and sand for miles. Over the next few days, Maya couldn't focus on her regular work. She kept thinking about the message. She tried to convince herself it was fake, but something about it felt real. The signal had come from deep space, and the technology behind it was beyond anything humans had created. She did some research and found something that made her hands shake. 3 other scientists around the world had received similar messages. Dr. Kim in Seoul, Dr. Hassan in Cairo, and Dr. Anderson in London. All of them worked in space communication, and all of them had received assignments to meet aliens. Maya called Dr. Kim first. She was nervous about bringing up such a crazy topic, but she had to know if this was real. You got one too, didn't you? Dr. Kim said as soon as Maya mentioned the message. I've been going crazy thinking about it. The signal came from coordinates that match a star system we've been monitoring for years. They talked for an hour, comparing their messages. The details were different, but the format was identical. Each message had information that was too personal, too accurate to be guessed. Maya spent the next 3 days in a strange state of excitement and terror. She was a scientist, trained to be logical and careful. But this felt like the discovery of a lifetime. If it was real, she would be the first human to meet an alien. If it was fake, she would look like a fool. She decided to go to the coordinates, not because she believed in the message she told herself, but because she needed to solve this mystery. She took time off work and drove to Arizona. The desert location was exactly as empty as she remembered. Maya set up a small camp and waited. She brought her laptop, some scientific equipment, and enough food for 3 days. If nothing happened, she would go home and forget about the whole thing. On the 7th day, just as the sun was setting, Maya felt something change in the air. The hair on her arms stood up, and her equipment started showing strange readings. The electromagnetic field around her was fluctuating in patterns she had never seen before. Maya's heart raced as she watched her instruments. Something was definitely happening, but she couldn't see anything. The desert looked the same as always, but the air itself seemed to be moving in impossible ways. Then she saw it. A small area of air began to shimmer like heat waves, but the evening was cool. The shimmer grew larger and more defined, forming the shape of a door in the empty air. Maya stepped back, her scientific mind struggling to process what she was seeing. This wasn't a spaceship landing. This was something else entirely. Something that bent the rules of physics. The shimmering door solidified, and Maya could see through it to what looked like the inside of a room. But the room was clearly not on Earth. The walls curved in ways that hurt to look at, and the light came from sources she couldn't identify. A figure appeared in the doorway. It was small, barely reaching Maya's shoulder, with skin that seemed to glow with its own light. The being looked almost human, but not quite. Its eyes were larger than human eyes, and its movements were too graceful, too fluid. The being stepped through the door and onto the desert sand. It looked at Maya with those large, expressive eyes and smiled. The smile was warm and genuine, but also somehow alien. Human, the being said in a voice like silver bells. You've been assigned a lover, and it's me. Maya stood frozen, staring at this impossible visitor. Her scientific training told her to run, to document everything, to call for help, but something deeper, something she didn't understand, told her to stay. The being's smile widened, and Maya realized that her life had just changed forever. The message had been real, the assignment was real, and standing in front of her was proof that humans were not alone in the universe. I'm Zara, the being said, extending a hand that glowed faintly in the desert twilight, and I've been waiting my whole life to meet you. Maya looked at the offered hand, then back at Zara's face. In that moment, she had to choose between the safe, predictable life she had always known and the unknown adventure that awaited her. She reached out and took Zara's hand. The touch sent a warm feeling through her entire body, like coming home after a long journey. I'm Maya, she said, her voice barely above a whisper, and I think I'm about to have the strangest week of my life. Zara laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Oh Maya, she said, you have no idea. Maya's hand trembled as she held Zara's glowing fingers. The touch felt warm and electric, like holding a small lightning bolt. She had touched alien skin, and somehow it felt more natural than shaking hands with most humans. This is impossible, Maya whispered, staring at their joined hands. You're actually here. You're actually real. Zara's laugh tinkled like glass bells. Very real, Maya, though I understand your shock. My people studied your species for many years before we decided to make contact this way. Maya looked around the empty desert, then back at the shimmering doorway behind Zara. That thing behind you, is that your spaceship? Not exactly, Zara said, following Maya's gaze. It's more like a bridge between our worlds. My ship is parked safely in what you might call another dimension. This portal lets me step between your world and mine without all the noise and drama your movies show. Maya couldn't help but smile at that. You've watched our movies. Oh yes, we love your entertainment. Though I must say, your films about alien contact are quite dramatic. All those explosions and military responses. We prefer a quieter approach. Zara gestured toward Maya's small camping setup. May I sit with you? I've been traveling for what you would call 3 days to get here, and I'm quite tired. Maya nodded quickly, leading Zara to her folding chairs. As they sat down, Maya noticed that Zara's skin gave off a soft silver light, like moonlight on water. It wasn't bright enough to hurt the eyes, but beautiful to watch. So, Maya said, trying to wrap her mind around the situation, you said I was assigned to you. How does that work exactly? Zara settled into the chair with fluid grace. The Zephyrian Collective has been watching Earth for 67 of your years. We're fascinated by how your species forms emotional bonds. Your capacity for love, friendship, and connection is remarkable. And you don't have that? Maya asked. We do, but differently. We connect through shared purpose and mental harmony. What you call romantic love is ... foreign to us. But we want to learn. Maya felt a strange flutter in her chest. So this is like a research project for you. Zara's expression grew serious, and her silver skin dimmed slightly. It started that way, but it's become much more. When I volunteered for this program, I thought I was just helping my people understand yours. But the more I learned about you specifically, the more curious I became. You learned about me specifically. We studied your psychological patterns, your work habits, your kindness to others. We watched how you care for your plants and talk to them when you think no one is listening. We saw how you stayed late to help younger researchers with their projects. Maya felt her cheeks burn. You were spying on me, observing, Zara corrected gently. But yes, I understand how that might feel invasive. We don't see privacy the same way humans do. In our culture, openness is valued above all else. Maya stood up and walked a few steps away, processing this information. So you know everything about me, but I know nothing about you. That doesn't seem fair. Zara rose and approached carefully, like someone trying not to scare a wild animal. You're right. Would you like to know about me? Maya turned back to face her. Yes, everything. I'm what you might call a cultural anthropologist. I study how different species communicate and connect. I chose to volunteer for this program because I believed it could help prevent conflicts between our peoples. Conflicts? Zara's glow dimmed. Further, your species is advancing rapidly. Soon you'll be capable of interstellar travel. When that happens, you'll encounter other civilizations. Some of them won't be as peaceful as ours. Maya felt a chill that had nothing to do with the desert night air. You're saying there are hostile aliens out there? Some, yes. But if we can prove that different species can form genuine emotional connections, it might change how everyone approaches first contact. Instead of fear and aggression, there could be understanding and cooperation. Maya sank back into her chair. So I'm part of an experiment to save humanity. You're part of an experiment to save many species, Zara said softly, including mine. They sat in silence for a moment, watching the stars appear in the darkening sky. Maya's mind raced with questions, but one kept pushing to the front. Zara, she said finally, what happens if this works? What happens if we actually ... connect? Zara was quiet for so long that Maya wondered if she'd asked the wrong question. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. I don't know, Zara admitted. No one from my species has ever formed a romantic bond before. We don't know what it would feel like, or how it would change us, and if it doesn't work, then I return to my world, and you return to yours. The program ends, and our species remain strangers. Maya looked at Zara's glowing form in the starlight. That seems like a lot of pressure. It is, Zara agreed. But Maya, I want you to know that this choice is yours. The assignment was based on compatibility, but it's not binding. If you want me to leave right now, I will. Maya considered this. 24 hours ago, her biggest worry was whether she'd remembered to water her office plant. Now she was sitting in the desert with an alien who was asking her to help bridge two worlds. Can I ask you something personal? Maya said. Of course. Do you feel anything when you look at me? I mean, emotionally. Zara tilted her head, considering the question. I feel ... curious, protective. When I saw you for the first time tonight, something in my chest became warm. Is that what you call attraction? Maya smiled despite herself. It might be. What do you feel when you look at me? Maya studied Zara's face, so similar to human features, but somehow more perfect. Terrified, she said honestly, but also fascinated. And yes, attracted. You're beautiful, Zara. Zara's skin brightened with what Maya was beginning to recognize as pleasure. Thank you. You're quite lovely yourself. They talked until well past midnight, sharing stories about their worlds and their lives. Maya learned that Zara lived in a city made of crystal and light, where her people communicated through colors as much as words. Zara learned about Maya's childhood love of astronomy, her fear of heights, and her secret dream of writing poetry. As the night grew deeper, Maya realized something had shifted. The fear and shock were fading, replaced by genuine curiosity about this remarkable being who had traveled across space to meet her. Zara, Maya said as they watched a meteor streak across the sky. I want to try this. I want to see if we can make this work. Zara's entire form seemed to glow brighter. Really, but I have one condition. What's that? Maya grinned. You have to teach me more about your world. If I'm going to fall for an alien, I want to understand what I'm getting into. Zara's laughter rang out across the desert, pure joy in musical form. Dill, she said, reaching for Maya's hand again. But I should warn you, my world is going to seem very strange to you. Maya squeezed Zara's glowing fingers. Stranger than having a conversation with someone from another planet in the middle of nowhere. Much stranger, Zara said with a smile. That made Maya's heart skip. But I think you're going to love it. 3 weeks had passed since Maya brought Zara home to her apartment. Those first few days had been the strangest of her life. Explaining to her landlord why her electricity bill had suddenly dropped to zero was just the beginning. Zara had somehow made the entire building more energy efficient just by being there. I still don't understand how you do that, Maya said, watching Zara wave her hand over the broken coffee maker. The machine hummed back to life, better than it had worked in years. Everything has energy patterns, Zara explained, her silver skin glowing softly in the morning light. I just help them flow more smoothly. Your human technology fights against itself so much. Maya poured coffee for herself and watched Zara examine the cup she offered her. In 3 weeks, Zara had never actually drunk coffee, but she loved watching Maya's morning routine. You do this every single day? Zara asked, sniffing the dark liquid with curiosity. Every morning for the past 10 years, Maya laughed. It's like fuel for humans. But you don't need fuel. You ate food last night. Coffee is different. It's more about the ritual than the nutrition. Here, try it. Zara took a tiny sip and her face scrunched up in the most adorable way. It's so bitter. How do you enjoy this? Add sugar, Maya suggested. Sliding the container across the table, Zara added 1 spoonful, tasted, then added 3 more. Her expression brightened. Oh, now it tastes like happiness. Maya nearly choked on her own coffee. Happiness has a taste. On my world, Emotions have flavors. Happiness tastes sweet and warm, like this coffee now. Sadness tastes cold and empty. Anger tastes sharp and burns. What does love taste like? Maya asked before she could stop herself. Zara paused with the cup halfway to her lips. I don't know yet. We don't have that emotion on my world. An awkward silence fell between them. Over the past 3 weeks, they had danced around the topic of love constantly. They both knew why Zara was here, but neither wanted to pressure the other. Maya had learned so much about Zara's world. The Zephyrians lived in cities that floated in the sky, held up by magnetic fields. They didn't have families the way humans did. Instead, they formed work groups based on shared interests and goals. Children were raised by the entire community. It sounds lonely, Maya had said when Zara first explained it. We don't understand loneliness the way you do, Zara had replied. We're always connected to each other through our mental links. Privacy, as you call it, is something we have to learn. Living together had been an adventure in compromises. Zara needed complete silence for 2 hours every afternoon to recharge her energy. Maya had learned to use that time for reading or quiet activities. In return, Zara had learned to give Maya space when she was stressed. Instead of trying to fix everything with her energy manipulation, Zara said suddenly, pulling her from her thoughts. May I ask you something personal? Of course. What does it feel like when you're attracted to someone? Maya felt her cheeks warm. Well, it's different every time, but with you, it's like having butterflies in my stomach, but good butterflies. And I think about you when you're not around. I wonder what you're doing, if you're happy. I experience something similar, Zara said quietly. When you smile, my energy patterns change. When you're sad, I feel cold inside. Is that normal? Very normal, Maya assured her. It means you care about me. I do care about you, more than I expected to. Maya reached across the table and took Zara's hand. The familiar warm electric feeling spread through her fingers. I care about you too. They had been holding hands more often lately. Maya had discovered that Zara's people communicated partially through touch, sharing emotions and thoughts through skin contact. When Zara held her hand, Maya could sometimes feel echoes of her emotions, curiosity, wonder, and something deeper that neither of them had named yet. There's something I want to show you, Zara said, standing up, but we'll need to go to your roof. Maya's apartment building had roof access, though she'd never used it. They climbed the stairs together, Maya carrying a blanket and Zara carrying what looked like a small crystal sphere. The city stretched out below them in the afternoon sunlight. Maya spread the blanket while Zara held up the crystal sphere. This is a memory crystal, Zara explained. It stores experiences so they can be shared. I want to show you my home. Is it safe? Completely. You'll just see and feel what I experienced. Think of it as a very vivid movie. Maya lay down on the blanket and Zara settled beside her, holding the crystal between them. As soon as Maya touched it, the world around her changed. She was floating in a crystal city, high above a purple ocean. The buildings were made of what looked like frozen light, curved and flowing like liquid architecture. Other Zephyrians floated between the structures, their silver skin glowing in patterns that Maya somehow understood were conversations. It's beautiful, Maya breathed, and somehow in the memory, Zara heard her. This is where I grew up, Zara's voice echoed around them. But watch this. The scene shifted, and Maya was in what seemed like a garden, but instead of plants, there were structures of pure energy that grew and changed like living things. Colors that had no names on Earth painted the sky in shifting patterns. We don't have music the way you do, Zara explained. But we have this. Suddenly Maya could hear the colors. Each hue had its own tone, and together they created harmonies that brought tears to her eyes. It was the most beautiful thing she had ever experienced. The memory faded, and they were back on the roof. Maya found herself crying, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming beauty of what she had seen. Thank you, she whispered. That was incredible. Now I understand why you love music so much, Zara said, wiping away Maya's tears with gentle fingers. Your emotions create colors, I can see. When you heard our color songs, you glowed brighter than any Zephyrian I've ever known. Maya turned to face Zara fully. What color am I now? Zara studied her with those large, expressive eyes, gold and pink, with threads of silver. It's the most beautiful combination I've ever seen. What does it mean? I think Zara said slowly, it means you're falling in love with me. Maya's heart skipped. What color are you? Zara looked down at her own hands, which were glowing brighter than usual, the same colors, gold and pink and silver. They stared at each other for a long moment, both understanding what this meant. The impossible was happening. A human and an alien were actually falling in love. Zara, Maya said softly. What happens now? I don't know, Zara admitted. This has never happened before. But Maya, I want to find out. I want to learn what love feels like with you. Maya leaned closer, close enough to see the tiny sparkles of light that moved beneath Zara's skin. I want that too, even though I'm not human, even though this is all strange and new. Especially because of that, Maya said with a smile. I never wanted a boring love story anyway. Zara's laughter was like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Well, you certainly won't get that with me. As the sun set over the city, they lay on the blanket together, not quite touching, but close enough to feel each other's warmth. Maya had never felt more content or more terrified in her life. She was falling in love with someone from another world, and somehow that felt like the most natural thing in the universe. Maya, Zara said as the first stars appeared. Yes, I think I know what love tastes like now. What does it taste like? Zara smiled, her skin glowing soft and warm in the starlight, like coffee with sugar, sweet and warm and a little bit addictive. Maya laughed, and in that moment she knew that whatever happened next, this strange and wonderful journey was just beginning. Maya's hands shook as she watched the news report on her laptop. The reporter was standing outside a government building, talking about unconfirmed alien activity and possible security threats. Her phone had been buzzing all morning with calls from work, but she was too scared to answer. This is bad, she whispered to Zara, who was sitting beside her on the couch, her silver skin dimmed with worry. How bad? Zara asked, though from her expression, she already knew. Very bad. They're talking about setting up a task force to investigate alien contact. They want to bring in the military. Zara's glow faded almost completely. This is exactly what we hoped wouldn't happen. 3 days ago, everything had been perfect. Maya and Zara had been planning to visit the botanical garden together. Zara was fascinated by earth plants and wanted to understand how they grew without energy manipulation. But then Dr. Peterson from Maya's work had shown up at her apartment, unannounced. Maya remembered the moment with horrible clarity. She had opened the door expecting a delivery, and there was Dr. Peterson with a concerned expression and a bottle of wine. Maya, I've been worried about you, he had said, pushing past her into the apartment. You've been acting strange lately, and I thought maybe we could talk about it. Maya had tried to keep him in the living room, but Zara had chosen that exact moment to float down from the ceiling, where she had been fixing a light fixture. She had been glowing brightly, completely relaxed, and had landed gracefully in front of Dr. Peterson. Hello, Zara had said politely. You must be one of Maya's colleagues. I'm Zara. Dr. Peterson had dropped the wine bottle. The sound of it shattering on the floor was nothing compared to the look of terror on his face. What are you? He had stammered, backing toward the door. I'm Zara, she had repeated, confused by his reaction. Maya's partner. That had been the wrong thing to say. Dr. Peterson had run from the apartment, and within hours, Maya's phone had started ringing with calls from government agencies she had never heard of. Now, sitting in her living room watching the news, Maya felt like her world was falling apart. I received a message from the collective this morning, Zara said, quietly. They're very concerned about the situation here. What kind of message? They want to terminate the program immediately. 3 of the other pairs have already been discovered. One of the humans was taken to a government facility for questioning. Maya felt ice form in her stomach. And the alien? Still missing. We don't know if they escaped or if they're being held somewhere. They sat in silence, watching the news cycle through the same stories over and over. Maya's doorbell rang, making them both jump. Don't answer it, Zara whispered. Maya peeked through the window and saw 2 people in dark suits standing at her door. Government agents, just like in the movies. We need to leave, Maya said, grabbing Zara's hand. Right now. They packed quickly, taking only essential items. Zara's portal device, Maya's laptop, some clothes, and the memory crystal that had become precious to both of them. Maya's heart ached as she looked around the apartment where they had been so happy. Where can we go? Zara asked as they climbed out the back window onto the fire escape. I know a place, Maya said, thinking of her cousins. Cabin in the mountains. It's remote, and no one will think to look for us there. They drove 4 hours in Maya's old car, taking back roads and avoiding highways. Maya kept checking the rearview mirror, expecting to see government vehicles chasing them. Zara sat quietly beside her, occasionally placing a glowing hand on the dashboard to keep the engine running smoothly. I'm sorry, Zara said as they wound through mountain roads. This is all my fault. I should have been more careful. It's not your fault, Maya replied firmly. Dr. Peterson had no right to just walk into my apartment. And even if he did see you, he didn't have to panic like that. But now everything is ruined. The program will be cancelled, and I'll have to go home. Maya's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Not if we can help it. The cabin was exactly as Maya remembered it, small and cozy and completely isolated. There was no internet, no phone service, and the nearest neighbor was miles away. It was perfect for hiding, but it also felt like a prison. Over the next few days, they tried to contact the other pairs in the program. Maya's laptop could barely pick up a signal, but they managed to reach Dr. Kim in Seoul through an encrypted message service. The situation is terrible, Dr. Kim wrote. They took Dr. Hassan 2 days ago. His partner managed to escape, but we don't know where they went. The governments are calling it a national security issue. Maya felt sick reading the messages. This is exactly what you were trying to prevent, isn't it? Fear and aggression instead of understanding. Yes, Zara said sadly. But maybe we were too optimistic. Maybe our species really are too different. Don't say that, Maya said, taking Zara's hands in hers. Look at us. We made it work, did we? We're hiding in a cabin in the mountains, afraid to show our faces. The program is failing, Maya. My people are talking about cutting off all contact with Earth. What would that mean for you? Zara's glow dimmed to almost nothing. I would have to choose. Stay here and never see my world again, or go home and never see you again. Maya felt tears starting to form. That's not fair. You shouldn't have to choose. Life isn't always fair, Zara said softly. I knew the risks when I volunteered, but you didn't know you would fall in love. No, Zara agreed, her skin brightening slightly. I didn't know love would feel like this. I didn't know it would make everything else seem unimportant. They spent the evening on the cabin's small porch, watching the stars come out. Maya pointed out constellations, and Zara told her which ones had planets where her people lived. There, Zara said, pointing to a cluster of stars. That's my home system. On clear nights I can feel the energy from there. Do you miss it? Sometimes, but not as much as I would miss you if I had to leave. Maya leaned against Zara's shoulder, feeling the warm electric comfort of her touch. We'll figure this out. There has to be a way to make people understand that you're not a threat. How your governments see us as enemies before they even meet us. Your people are afraid of what they don't understand. Not all of us, Maya said. I wasn't afraid of you. You were terrified when we first met. Maya laughed. Okay, I was terrified, but I got over it. Other people can too, can they? Or are we just two individuals who got lucky? Maya didn't have an answer for that. As they sat in the darkness, she wondered if their love story was doomed from the start. Maybe the differences between their species really were too great. Maybe the fear and suspicion would always win. But then Zara's hand found hers in the darkness, and Maya felt that familiar, warm electric feeling spread through her. Whatever happened next, she wasn't ready to give up on what they had found together. Zara, she said quietly, what if we went public? What if we told our story ourselves, instead of letting the governments control the narrative? That's very dangerous, Maya. If we're caught, there's no telling what they would do to us. But if we don't try, the program ends anyway, at least. This way we're fighting for something we believe in. Zara was quiet for a long time, considering it would mean risking everything. We're already risking everything by hiding here. At least if we go public, we're taking control of our own story. You would do that, risk your safety for the chance that people might understand. Maya squeezed Zara's glowing hand. I would do that for you, for us, for the chance that love really can bridge any gap. Zara's skin brightened with determination. Then let's do it. Let's show your world that love doesn't have to be scary, even when it's different. As they sat holding hands under the stars, Maya felt afraid and hopeful at the same time. Tomorrow, they would start planning their return to the world. They would risk everything to prove that love could overcome fear. It was the most terrifying and exciting decision of Maya's life. Maya's heart pounded as she adjusted the camera one more time. They had been planning this moment for 3 days, and now it was finally happening. In 30 minutes, they would broadcast their message to the world, and there would be no going back. Are you ready? She asked Zara, who was sitting beside her in the cabin's main room. They had transformed the small space into a makeshift studio, with Maya's laptop connected to a satellite internet device they had borrowed from her cousin. I'm terrified, Zara admitted, her silver skin flickering with nervous energy. What if this makes everything worse? It can't get much worse, Maya said, trying to sound more confident than she felt. The program is already being shut down. At least this way, people will hear our side of the story. They had contacted Dr. Kim and the other remaining pairs, convincing them to coordinate their broadcasts. At exactly noon, 4 couples from around the world would go live simultaneously, sharing their experiences with anyone willing to listen. Maya looked at her notes one more time. She had written down key points, but she knew this had to come from the heart. People needed to see the real them, not some carefully scripted performance. You know what to do if things go wrong? Maya asked. Zara nodded, touching the portal device on her wrist. I can have us back in the desert in 3 seconds if necessary. Good, but I don't think we'll need to run. I believe people are better than their governments give them credit for. The countdown on Maya's laptop showed 2 minutes remaining. She took Zara's hand, feeling the familiar warm electric sensation that had become her favorite feeling in the world. Whatever happens, Maya said, I want you to know that these past months have been the best of my life. Mine too, Zara replied, her glow brightening. I never understood what humans meant when they talked about home, but now I do. Home isn't a place, it's being with the person you love. The countdown reached 0. Maya pressed the broadcast button, and suddenly they were live, streaming to social media platforms around the world. Hello, Maya said, looking directly into the camera. My name is Maya, and this is Zara. We have something important to tell you. Within minutes, viewer numbers were climbing rapidly. Comments started flowing in faster than Maya could read them, a mixture of curiosity, skepticism, and amazement. 2 months ago, I received a message from space, Maya continued. It told me I had been assigned a romantic partner from another world. I thought it was a joke, but I was wrong. Zara came to Earth as part of a cultural exchange program designed to build understanding between our species. Zara leaned closer to the camera. I volunteered for this program because my people believe that emotional connections can prevent conflicts between civilizations. We've seen too many worlds destroyed by fear and misunderstanding. Maya watched the viewer count climb past 10,000, then 20,000. Major news outlets were starting to pick up the stream. I want to show you something, Maya said, reaching for the memory crystal. This is how Zara's people share experiences. She held up the crystal, and Zara activated it. The camera captured the beautiful light patterns that emerged, swirling colors that seemed to dance in the air above them. This is music from Zara's world, Maya explained. They don't create sound the way we do. They create living light that tells stories and expresses emotions. The comments section exploded. People were sharing the stream, translating it into dozens of languages, and adding their own thoughts. Maya saw messages of support mixed with fear and anger, but the supportive messages were growing stronger. We know this is strange, Zara said, her voice gentle but clear. We know it's scary to learn that you're not alone in the universe, but we're not here to conquer or control. We're here to learn and to share. Maya's phone started buzzing with calls from news stations wanting interviews. She ignored them and focused on the camera. The government officials who are hunting us right now, they're acting out of fear, Maya said. They think Zara and others like her are threats. But in the past 2 months, the most dangerous thing Zara has done is fix my coffee maker. That comment got thousands of laughing emojis in the chat. Maya felt some of her tension ease. People were listening. They were responding with curiosity instead of just fear. Maya has taught me so much about what it means to be human, Zara said. The capacity for love, for growth, for accepting someone completely different from yourself. These are gifts that deserve to be celebrated, not hidden. The stream had reached over 100,000 viewers. Maya saw that the other couples were also broadcasting successfully, sharing their own stories from Seoul, London, and Cairo. Not asking you to trust blindly, Maya continued. We're asking you to consider that love doesn't recognize species barriers, that understanding is always better than fear, that maybe, just maybe, we can choose cooperation over conflict. Suddenly, Maya heard vehicles approaching outside. Her blood went cold as she recognized the sound of multiple cars pulling up to the cabin. They found us, she whispered to Zara. Should we run? Zara asked, her hand moving to the portal device. Maya looked at the camera, then at the viewer count, now approaching 200,000 people watching from around the world. No, she said firmly. We stay. Let them come. Let everyone see what happens when governments choose fear over understanding. Heavy footsteps approached the cabin door. Maya kept talking to the camera. Whatever happens next, remember what you've seen here today. Remember that love found a way to bridge the gap between worlds. Remember that we chose to trust you with our story. The door burst open, and agents in tactical gear flooded into the room, but instead of shutting down the stream, immediately, they hesitated. They could see the camera, the viewer count, the world watching. Dr. Rodriguez, the lead agent said, you need to come with us. Why? Maya asked calmly, still facing the camera. What crime have we committed? Falling in love. The agent looked uncomfortable. Maya realized that going public had changed everything. They couldn't just disappear people when the whole world was watching. You're harboring an illegal alien, the agent said, but his voice lacked conviction. Illegal according to what law? Maya challenged. Show me the law that says people from other planets can't visit Earth peacefully. The comments section was going crazy. People were recording everything, sharing clips, demanding answers from their governments. The viewer count hit 500,000, and kept climbing. Zara stood up slowly, her hands visible and non. I'll come with you willingly, she said, but I want the world to know that I came in peace, and I'm leaving in peace. Wait, the agent said, pressing his earpiece. He was clearly receiving new instructions. After a moment, he looked back at Maya and Zara. My orders have changed, he said, lowering his weapon. You're to continue your broadcast. Someone wants to speak with you. Maya's laptop screen split, and a familiar face appeared. It was the president, calling in from the White House. Dr. Rodriguez Zara, the president said, looking directly into the camera. The world is watching, and frankly, so am I think. It's time we had an honest conversation about first contact. The viewer count exploded past 1 million. Maya felt Zara's hand slip into hers, both of them glowing with nervous excitement. Mr. President, Maya said, we'd be honored to talk. What followed was the most surreal hour of Maya's life. They sat in a mountain cabin, connected to world leaders, scientists, and millions of ordinary people, having the first public discussion about human-alien relations in history. By the end of the broadcast, agreements had been reached. The cultural exchange program would continue, but with full transparency and government oversight. The aliens would work with human authorities to establish proper diplomatic channels. Most importantly, the couples who had formed genuine connections would be allowed to stay together. 6 months later, Maya stood in her new office at the International Interspecies Relations Center. Through her window, she could see the city skyline, dotted with the gentle lights of other Zephyrian visitors who had come to Earth through official channels. Zara floated up behind her, wrapping her arms around Maya's waist. How was your day? Ambassador Rodriguez. Maya laughed, still getting used to that title, but good. We approved 3 more cultural exchange applications. And the medical team thinks they've figured out how to adapt Zephyrian healing techniques for human use. And the wedding planning. Maya turned in Zara's arms, still amazed by how perfectly they fit together. Almost finished, though I still can't believe we're going to have the first human-alien wedding in history, broadcast live around the world. You nervous? Terrified, Maya admitted, but also excited. We're not just getting married, Zara, we're proving that love really can bridge any gap. Zara's skin glowed with happiness. I love you, Maya Rodriguez. I love you too, Zara of the Silver Coast colony. They kissed as the sun set over the city, 2 beings from different worlds who had found in each other something neither had known. They were looking for. Their love story had become the foundation for a new chapter in the history of both their species. Outside their window, the stars began to appear, no longer representing the vast emptiness between worlds, but the infinite possibilities that opened when fear gave way to love. Their assignment had become their choice, and their choice had changed everything.